Now, next speaker is Dr. Rajashekhar Reddy, Convenor, Visakhapatnam, and he is already taking a huge program and spreading awareness about the geoheritage among all the chapters of INTAC. He's already in the WhatsApp group, and most of the conveners they are following uh, the various programs which he is informing and telling about the geoheritage. So now I hand over the mic to Dr. Rajashekhar Reddy. Yes.
Good morning to all of you. Respected Chairman Sir, Shuklaji, Vice Chairman Ma'am, Member Secretary Ma'am, and fellow dignitaries. Thank you. Good morning to all of you. I am extremely happy to stand before you on this occasion. Uh, well, in a way, I'm scared because I have to make this presentation of 4,600 million years of Earth history and the evolution of life and its significance in 10 minutes time. I'm in the midst of bells and bells plus rings. So yesterday when Shuklaji asked me to give the presentation, I requested time for him so that I can compress it such that I will not be too much off from that. So I think I'll try to make as much as possible. Let's see how it goes. That depends upon your. Now, as I said in the beginning, well, anyway, I just wanted to say one thing. In the geological formations, the layers will be one after the other, and after studying certain things, you know that the next layer, what it will be. So same way when you are listening to the lectures, maybe you might have expected me a bit earlier than Madam Sujata's presentation as per this thing. So when there is a dislocation, it happens in the nature also. That dislocation is called as a fault. I mean, not that there is a fault here, but scientifically also it is named as a fault. So, I mean, when we go for a mapping of the beds, then we come across unexpected things. So, we have to expect unexpected things in the nature while mapping in geology. Okay. So, I thought that struck my mind when there was a dislocation in these things. So, yeah, that the Earth has evolved over a period of 4,600 million years from the gaseous nebula envelope to what it is today in the form of continents and oceans and with all these things. And they're all there preserved in the form of rocks, minerals, fossils, and then other processes and features. Let's see. There are 5 things that are connected with the geodiversity. When I'm talking to many of these, I mean, well, what is that there? I mean, what can we do? There is no geology or there is no internationally significant thing so that we can celebrate this International Geodiversity Day. It's not like that. Every place on the surface of the earth is unique in its own way. It's not necessarily internationally significant. If it is significant for me, me is the first priority. So our life depends upon what we eat is, say, rice, any crop or any product is from the soil. So soil is basically important and soil is a part of the geodiversity. So like that, I'll try to explain other things. So these are the 5 terms: geodiversity, geoheritage, geotourism, geoconservation, and geoparks. Okay. Now let's see what is this geodiversity. And suppose on the face of the earth, if you remove all the life forms, plants and animals and other things, and whatever you see on the surface of the earth is a geodiversity. What do we see on the surface of the earth? There may be a hill, there may be a river, there may be an ocean, there may be a soil, and all these things forms part of the geodiversity. So if you see here, there is a rock cycle. There are different rocks, as we all know, that sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic rocks, and a number of variants in that. All these things will give us the for material for constructing our houses, and then the soil by weathering, and then minerals from which we extract and make industries and all that. So all our life development is based on the geodiversity, the type of food we eat, the type of buildings we construct, the type of industries we have, all these things are related to geodiversity. In fact, geodiversity is a fundamental unit for biodiversity and other things, evolution of the human life. See, these are all the various types of fossils. I mean, starting from the stromatolites is a preliminary form of life to vertebrates. All these things are preserved in the rocks. So I had to, I mean, compress all these things into single slides so that time we can say. And these are all the different environments, starting from, say, Himalayas downwards and east and westwards. You see, we have the mountains, we have the glaciers from which we get the rivers, and it will go to the transitional environment in the form of deltas, beaches, and then marine domain. And then we have the arid desert environment, like that. So all these are the dynamic processes that are continuously acting on the surface of the earth and then modifying it. If I may say so, there is no point on the face of the earth, either on the surface or in the subsurface, which is static in its form and position. It is continuously changing in its position as well as the form, both in time and space. So that's the dynamics of the earth. So only thing is we are not realizing and giving its value. So now coming to another term, geoheritage. And now to tell you, I'm structuring my lecture like this. One is I'm just giving you in few slides about the fundamentals of geodiversity and related to geology. Then keeping that in you, keeping in the mandate of our intact, what it has done so far, and then what are the potential of our Indian geodiversity, and what is the gap in the information, what we have done, and what is the way forward. So now we are trying to understand the fundamental aspects of it. Geoheritage, as we all know that, out of all these geodiversity, since we cannot preserve and protect everything on the surface of the earth, keeping in view the developmental aspects and other requirements, we need to preserve certain things by assigning a value to it, so that it requires for various reasons. It may be for scientific reasons, in order to understand the evolution of the earth and evolution of life and things like that. Maybe it for educational value, maybe it for aesthetic value, and other cultural values. So based on these values, and then this is the type of significance, another is the level of significance. That is, it may be important at local level, it may be important at regional level or national level or international level. So keeping both these aspects into our perspective, we will need to protect certain things. That's geoheritage. Now, based on this geoheritage and geodiversity, it attracts the value so that the people will be attracted to go there and see it. Unfortunately, in case of, you see, most of our tourism is a geotourism, but the only thing is that we don't realize that it is a geotourism. All of us will go to the beaches, all of us will go to the caves, all of us will go to the valleys, hilltops, but we never realize that it's a part of the geodiversity, and it is a result of the geological features and processes. It's a process response system over few seconds to millions of years. There are certain features you might not have seen which disappears in a matter of few seconds, a geological feature. A majority of you might have gone to beaches. Just if you go to beach next time, you stand where the waves coming and going back. When it comes, it forms forward wash. When it goes back, it forms backward wash, resulting in what are known as a swash marks, which will be a diamond shape. So beautiful to see and exciting to see that. What is the time span between that wave coming and going back? That means appears, disappears, appears, and disappears. From that to a feature which takes millions of years to form, like, say, bauxite deposits, or say the valleys, or say the ridges. They takes, say, any important these things which we see as a landscape, it takes millions of years. So that's the lifespan, from seconds to the millions of years. That's a range, that's a diversity. And so that kind of a realization should come to us. When we walk on the beach, there is a lot of variation in the beach, either along the shore or perpendicular to the shores. Only thing is, you have to be sensitive to understand the variations in that. Then you will realize how much of variation, because one is the hinterland geology and rock types. Second thing is the coastline, either it's a straight coastline or a curvilinear coastline. or whether there are any rocks protruding into the sea. That's the diversity it creates. So based on that, there will be a lot of variation in terms of the colors and other things, features. So these can be classified, the geotourism industry can be classified based on, even the mining sites create a lot of interest. If you want to see what lies beneath the earth, one of the best things is, let's say if you go to Kolar mine, the deepest mine, you can see so much of depth variations and all that. Otherwise, we don't get an opportunity to see. So even that can be an important site. And similarly, caves, mines, and other things are there. So these are also few examples to say that one is a cave, another is Himalayas for adventure tourism. The one is say live corals. The other, that the one which you are seeing as a lake is a lunar lake. This is formed. It's called known as a lake. Is not just a body of water. How this body of water has come. See, the most important thing in a lake is not the water. It is the container that is important. So that container is the resultant of, it can be just, let's say if you go to the Himalayas, there in glaciers, there is what's known as a cirque. And then impounding of water maybe due to tectonic effect, or it may be a depression caused by, see this particular Lona Lake is caused by the meteorite impact. That means an extraterrestrial material has formed over that, created such an impact on the earth, it became a depression. So then that has been filled by the water. So what I'm trying to say that in the tourism, it's not, okay, aesthetic is all right. It should become an enlightened tourism with the knowledge. Why? You see, cave is not just a hole. We just go inside and there are so many varieties. So it cannot form everywhere. It can form only in certain environments. One is a rock, another is a climate, another is hydrology there. All these things result in the formation of the caves. So if you understand those things in the process response system and in the time capsule, then you'll realize the value, and your appreciation for that will vary. So as education and realization and understanding advances, it should become more of an enlightened tourism. Then, of course, the next is a conservation. Where do we need a conservation? Conservation is required wherever there is a threat. When there is a fear or scope of losing certain things, then the conservation comes into existence. As is the case in all these things, there are different kinds of threats. As we all know that we are all familiar that mining is one of there are quarries, there are mines both on the surface and subsurface. And you see, this is a Varkala. This is a beautiful, scientifically very important, besides aesthetically important. Wow. Okay, sir, give me some 5 minutes time. I'm not even half. Okay, sir. What Intac has done over a period of 10 years is that it has, in certain areas, Intac has done a very good work. Like, for the first time in the country, Intac has done these seminars on geoheritage, and it initiated that. And then we have published quite a few monographs. Okay, and now we are trying to do this International Geodiversity Day, which is UNESCO declared International Geodiversity Day on October 6th. In this process, I am in touch with all the people, so kindly think of celebrating International Geodiversity Day. For any doubts or anything, you may please contact me. Now, see, what I was trying to impress upon that is that there are a lot of things that we need to do. What we have done so far in Intac and what we can do in future is there is so much of a gap. So in order to fill this gap, I request the authorities to kindly see that proper plans are made, not as just at a chapters level. So far, whatever advancement we have taken place is because of two chapters. One is Visakhapatnam, another is Udaipur. So I request that kindly see that some constructive programs by making these things. So in every case, like, we have to create awareness, we document. We have not done any documentation, systematic documentation so far. There are few thousands of important sites to be documented. So every chapter needs to be sensitized to take up these activities. For that, I feel that an independent unit, how we do it, it's up to the authorities and policymakers. Keeping in view the task is gigantic. So you please formulate certain plans of taking this geoheritage forward by creating some independent. Another important thing immediately we should do is that there are international correlation programs which is called as a IGCP. Now IGCP is they are numbered. So I was involved in earlier as a national coordinator on IGCP 475 on deltas and as a member in IGCP 464 on continental shelves. Here, this at present one that is going on is on the bringing geology and geoheritage to life. That is the title, sir. We should immediately, INTAC should immediately be a member of that. So we should write to UNESCO and then try to be a part of it. That's an important thing, sir. So that's how I think we should take it forward. Okay, thank you very much, sir.